Hello guys, welcome back. Today I got you a video about the machetes. How we're going to be talking about what constitutes a machete and what is not, or what it is and what is not a machete. We're also going to be talking very briefly about how they were used in the past, how they're used in the present, and we're going to talk a little bit of a controversial issue as well about if they should or should not be banned, as we have issues here, at least in Australia, about these tools falling into the wrong hands. Right? So, what is a machete? A machete is a tool, it's a bushcraft tool that's been used extensively over the centuries in pretty much in all continents. I'm from South America, so I can speak to how they're used over there. So if you guys have some knowledge of how the machetes are used in Southeast Asia, that would be great if you can contribute in the comments below. So I'm not gonna bother you with the specs. I got a few machetes here to show you. Also, I got a couple of swords and a couple of knives, just to make my point, to put my point across about what it is and what it's not, and how to distinguish a machete from what is not a machete. So I'm going to be showing them. And machetes, they have been used in South America for a very, very long time as a farmer's tool. They were also used as a weapon. You can weaponize pretty much everything. Machetes are like a cheap sword. In the independence wars against the Spanish Empire, we got, for example, in Venezuela, General Paez, he led the uprisings of the people in the outback, called the Llaneros. They fought against regular Spanish troops in horseback, yielding machetes. So let's start with this one here. This one is the Jungle Machete from cold steel. It comes with a nylon sheath and has drop point design. It's made of carbon steel. That is one of the main differences where you can use to differentiate what it is a machete and what is not. Machetes are made of carbon steel. That makes them cheaply and fast to make. So if the machete is made out of carbon steel, is affordable or cheap, and normally they also has a handle made of wood, hardwood, and that would definitely make a machete. Also, they are very thin blades, so this one has around just under 3 millimeters in thickness, while a knife are normally made of stainless steel. They are smaller in size, so a machete is a large tool. It can be anything between 12 to 24 inches in length. Knife are around, large knife will be around 10 inches in length. The thickness of a knife is obviously thicker than this one, could be 4, even 5 millimeters in thickness. And so how do we use these machetes? So machetes are used to clear the fields. You can use this one, live in my garden shed for garden upkeeping. I've seen a fair bit of use. I don't own a large property, but I use it to cut small branches and clear some bush around. Of course, you can weaponize them and use them as a compact sword, but we'll get there. So this is the Jungle Machete from cold steel. Has a good balance, is solid, has a wide belly here, which you can call it as the service area from here to here. the most that you're going to be using is where the weight of the blade is. It's also very important, and I like that has a drop point design. I'll get to that point about the tips and about the service area. So I got another one here that is very popular. This one is made by Tactical. It's a parang machete. Also comes with a nylon sheath. It's a very comfortable and well-designed rubberized handle. Very popular in Southeast Asia. This one is brand new. I bought it to replace the Steel Jungle Machete for when I go camping, as this one is lighter and more compact. It fits better on my SUV, so I can retire the Steel one only for household duties, and then I can take this one when camping or hunting. So I'm looking forward to see how it performs. So it has a good balance as well. Obviously the design of the tip won't be good if you're going to use it as a weapon. It's very unlikely that you're going to be making any efficient stabbing with it, but it's definitely a chopper, as all the weight of the blade sits on this area here, is where it is wider. It's also thicker than the cold steel. This was around just under 4 millimeters in thickness. So it's definitely going to be a good chopper for small branches, even chopping small trees down, and even for splitting firewood. So I don't need to rely on the hatchet for that. So the parang machete, go away. And then I got this one. Is actually my favorite one. This one is made by Kershaw. It has a superb sheet made of high polymer. It's also moly compatible. Has this Velcro here that you can attach it to your backpack or your day pack or your rucksack. Also comes with the belt attachment you want to put on your belt. The belt is a little bit small. You can fit probably your tactical belt there, as it's around 1.5 inches, so that shouldn't be an issue, but you definitely won't be able to fit it on your duty belt or your battle belt, as they are wider, around 2 inches, so it won't fit there. So in that case, you will probably have to rely on the moly attachment and carry it somewhere else. So I wouldn't carry this anyway on my hip. But definitely, I got this one not with intention to use it at all, but it lives on my bug out bag, just in case of a zombie apocalypse that we all know will never happen, but it's just so cool. It has a trailing tip design, more resemblance of a cutlass sword. Has a very good rubberized handle. Again, the sheet is just, fantastic. It fits perfectly on my bug out bag. One of the other things that I like about this design is that not only has your traditional lanyard hole there, that is very good to keep it attached to your wrist so it doesn't fly off your hand when you're chopping around in tropical jungles, but also has another hole here at the brand that is not very common in other tools. So that hole there that many people ask me what it is for, is actually for you to put a paracord or some sort of attachment between them, and it substitutes the lanyard that goes to your wrist. I actually prefer that one because it gives you a better grip of the machete, and it's less likely it's going to come off your handle. So rather than hanging like this to your wrist, you tie a rope that goes from here to here and going to the other side. From between both holes, you fit your hand there, and the rope, I probably should make a video about that, and it gives you a better grip, and then you can also have it in both sides, so it's fully ambidextrous, and then it's less likely that the machete is going to come off your hand. That is fantastic. So thumbs up to Kershaw for that design. This blade comes in 2 sizes. This one is a short version. There's another one a little bit longer for that one, but this one for my backpack is just perfect in size and in weight. Okay. also made of carbon steel, so the size and the material makes it a machete. Okay, we got, I do not own an actual jungle machete like it is known by the shape in South America, and also the size. They are very long, like anything between 20 to 24 inches. But I do own this knife from SOC. This one is called the Jungle Canopy. It comes with a nylon sheath. Okay, it doesn't come the hip attachment. I fit that myself. I also fit a sharpening tool in the pocket. It doesn't come with it. And what about the shape? Okay, this is the shape of your traditional jungle machete. Okay, but obviously way longer. This one's around, I believe, I'll put all the specs on the description box below, but I think that this one is around 9 inches. So a machete, a jungle machete, as it's known in South America, has this same flat tip design, but it's very long and made of carbon steel, also around just under 3 millimeters in thickness. They are very cheap and easy to find everywhere. This one is made of stainless steel, short blade, and it is around 4 millimeters in thickness. Has a very comfortable rubberized handle. So the material, the thickness of the blade and the length makes it a knife. So this will be considered a large knife, although some people call it a machete. But this is not a machete, it's a large knife. How? Why? Because you can compare it with an actual knife, like a Bowie knife. It's a large Bowie knife, and nobody would argue that this is a knife, not a machete. See the size? The Bowie knife is actually bigger than this one. Okay, so that's the Jungle Canopy from SOG. Put the Bowie away. This Bowie is made out of carbon steel, so you could debate that, well, that would make it a machete, but it's not. And because this one is very scary, very popular is made by Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson, Outback. Smith & Wesson is a firearms manufacturer. They don't make knife, but they do give knife manufacturers to make knife under their brand as a licensee. So this is a licensed product by Smith & Wesson, and it comes in a nylon sheath. It's a kukri knife, not a machete. Okay. Why? It's too small. The blade is too thick. This one is almost 5 millimeters in thickness. The blade length is just under 12 inches. It's fairly lightweight. The weight is mostly at the tip of the blade, where it's thicker, and it's made of stainless steel. So that will make it a knife, not a machete. The Gurkhas in Nepal, they use it as a knife, not a machete. It's purely a fighting knife. Of course, you can give it just like everything else, just like any of these tools here, bushcraft applications, but is designed for fighting. One of the things that I like the most about the kukri is not only that it's a large knife that will give you a farther reach, but also the weight of the blade will make it a good chopper in the case that you are using it as a chopping style of attack to your opponent, but also the angle of the shape, or the angle of the shape of the blade is in harmony with the relationship between the wrist and the forearm. So when you are delivering a thrusting motion, when the top of the blade that is going to penetrate into the target is completely vertical, it compensates for the angle of your wrist upper extended downward in relation to the forearm. So that will make for a very efficient thrusting motion forward towards the target with a clean penetration with the straightened part and the angle. This is just a formidable blade. Okay, I got this one just for with no intention to ever use it, no camping, no anywhere. It just simply looks cool. And it sits on my box of knives. So that's the kukri. So we got the kukri knife, stainless steel. The sock jungle canopy, stainless steel, small blades. That makes them a knife, just like the Bowie. We got the parang. We got the Kershaw jungle blades, stainless steel. Stainless steel, cold steel, jungle machete. Okay. How can we use a machete for combat purposes? Just like a sword that can be used for slashing and stabbing, you can do exactly the same thing with a machete, and that is where the controversial lies. You know, is it a tool? Is it a weapon? You can weaponize literally anything. So I'm sending a message here to the Australian authorities. They're planning to ban these tools. These are tools to be used in the bush. If you are a farmer, or if you go camping or you go hunting, you're gonna need this tool to make your way through the bush. You can weaponize absolutely everything. So I got here a few examples of everyday items that you can weaponize. This is your screwdriver, a flat screwdriver. It's very pointy. You can use this one to attack another human being in the eye or the neck, and it will cause some serious injuries. So that doesn't mean, and it's very easy to conceal as well. So that doesn't mean that we're going to put a ban on screwdrivers and only people over 18 years of age can buy it. We got here an average scissor. It has a little screw here that can be undone, and you will have not one but two knives, and they are very pointy and very sharp. So that doesn't mean, and very easy to conceal as well. That doesn't mean that we're going to put a ban on scissors, because they can be weaponized, and then youth offenders can carry to break into properties and threat people with it, and then only 18 years of age will be able to buy them. And if you want to be more exotic, we got here a corkscrew that you can use like the equalizer to stab people with it. So that doesn't mean that then we're going to put a ban on corkscrews, and only 18 years of age older can buy it, because they are easy to conceal and they can also be weaponized. So when does it end? So when logic will go over stupidity. So if we're going to go and say we're going to ban these tools because, you know, youth offenders are using it to break into properties and threaten the owners with it to steal their valuables and their cars, the tool is not the problem. The problem is how these tools are getting into the hands of those youth offenders. Because to buy a machete in Australia, you also have to be over 18 years of age. So how those tools ended up in the hands of those kids. Okay? So, politics aside, how do we train if you choose to train with your machete and give it another applications? These tools are used extensively in South America in operation conducted against drug cartels. So the military, law enforcement in anti-drugs operations use it to clear the bush to get to where they plant the marijuana plants and for harvest, and the marijuana plants and the coca plants, and they are used for destroying them. So it's a very heavy tags on the body for these special people. So my respect to them. So I would encourage to use this tool or to practice with your non-dominant arm. I'm right-handed, so I'm carrying it with the left, because if you are conducting this operation, you can always be a victim of the custodians of these drug plantations, and you want to preserve your dominant hand so you can operate your other weapon systems. So how can we train with that? Well, there are no training machetes, but this is a good alternative that I got for you. And this is a training broadsword, or Chinese broadsword. It has a resemblance with a actual long jungle machete. So if you want to make it more look-alike, you can probably cut this section here. This is made of a resin, synthetic resin. You can cut this either, which is the counterweight, and you can flatten this area, just cut this tip here, and you have your training machete. Okay, so you can train this, and how can we use it the Russian way? So I'm not going to go there into the details, because I got already a presentation where I go in details. It's called The Origins of the Systema Defense, where I'm explaining the use of the Shashka sword. So, but let's spin it just for the fun. All right. Hand here to protect your neck. And we start doing the shields. Upper shield, side shield, front shield, back shield, and we slash with it. Slash, upper slashes, shielding and thrusting. All right. So you can do exactly that same work, and you will know if you're doing the correct work, because your machete should feel feather light. Okay. We're gonna spin the machete, and please do not do this at home. I will put it also in the disclaimer and write it in the box. This is a live blade. It's extremely sharp and extremely pointy, and you can hurt yourself. That's why I'm not doing this presentation with a training partner like I did with the Español shovel, because I don't want to accidentally injure my training partner, and my liability insurance doesn't cover for limbs chopped with a live blade. Okay, so hold the machete with your non-dominant hand after you have trained extensively with your training machete, training sword. And we're going to do the shields. Back shield, front shield, side shield, upper shield, and slash, 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 thrust. Okay? So if you have the motion correctly executed, your machete should be weightless, and you won't get tired as much. So you can go for a very long time in your jungle operations, making yourself wade through the bush, just letting the weight of the blade to do the job, not the strength of your arm. And practice extensively with your non-dominant hand, so you preserve your dominant hand to operate your other weapon systems. All right? Again, side shield, front shield, back shield, cut, upper shield, slash, slash, thrust. Okay? So you can use your machete as your, in the same way that you would use your Shashka Russian sword. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. So if you have any comments, please feel free to write in the description box below. I'm going to make this video also in Spanish, and I'll probably go a little bit longer on the explanation on the combat applications of the machete, because I do not have a Spanish version of this origins of the Systema operating the Shashka sword. So it's going to go for the Hispanic community. Please write your comment below if you have any questions. I'll be more happy to answer them. You can pretty much get all these tools online with few exceptions, and you obviously have to be over 18 years of age. And well, if you have any questions, I will answer them. But before I go, I want to show you, because I read on the internet that in some islands in the Caribbean where they speak English, like Jamaica and Barbados, so forth, they call the machetes cutlass. But I really don't know where they got that from, because I actually have a cutlass here. And you can see, get it unsheathed. Didn't look even close to the actual cutlass. But you know, everybody on their own. Okay, this is a replica of a navy or a naval cutlass sword from the 18th century. And of course, a sword is used as a weapon. It's not used as a farming tool, because I don't have any recollections of history showing the Japanese samurais from feudal Japan. This is a real katana. It's really sharp and pointy. So I don't have any recollections of the samurai using their katanas to clear the fields. Okay, katanas were fighting swords, no farmer's tools. So that is one of the other differences that you can use to distinguish what it is a sword and what is a machete. And of course, you can use a machete as a cheap sword for fighting, as it was used in the independence wars in South America, in Venezuela, Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, fighting against the Spanish conquistadores. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next presentation. Bye bye.